Bitcoin faced a major rejection over the weekend. However, it is not all bad news. We have great regulatory news coming out of India and out of Russia. Also, a major network upgrade just happened for Bitcoin, which is a very big milestone for the network as well. In today's video, I want to discuss with you what is the ideal percentage of cryptocurrency in your broader portfolio. All of that and more in today's video. My name is Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. So if that's a topic you'd like to learn some more about, maybe just stay up to date with, then you should definitely subscribe to the Lark Davis channel. Also, you can take a quick second to tap on that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. That'd be super awesome. And obviously anybody who would like to receive a notification should click on the notification bell. By the way, if you are a cryptocurrency trader, then you need to get yourself an account over on Femex. You can long, you can short a wide variety of the top cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Solana, Chainlink, all of the good stuff. Use the link down below to start your account. You're gonna get 10% off of your trading fees and up to $1,200 in trading bonuses. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here. So over the weekend, Bitcoin actually gave us a second test, flipping our area, of course, of previous price resistance, this trend line here, which is the top line of this beautiful triangle. Of course, we had our nice breakout, our first test flipping previous resistance into price support, and then we had a second one on Friday. Currently, the price of Bitcoin is pushing higher, a little over $65,000 at the moment. Although one thing to keep in mind is that we do have a bearish divergence on the RSI right now. So we had our first price peak here coinciding with an RSI peak here. We had our second price peak here coinciding with a lower peak on the RSI, classic bearish divergence. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean we're entering a new bear market, despair now, everything's over? Oh no, of course not. Of course not. This is just a bearish divergence. Nothing to get too alarmed about. Now that does mean, of course, that until we break above the line here and invalidate our bearish divergence here on the RSI, we could see the price of Bitcoin ranging sideways, potentially coming back down for a retest of this $62,000 region, which obviously has just been such an important area for Bitcoin price-wise. We've seen so much price action in here, so many different areas of resistance and support being tested and invalidated. So very, very important line here for us for Bitcoin. So a $62,000 retest would not surprise me. That would, of course, continue the downtrend here for the RSI if that does happen. But any little news story right now, of course, can push us up to a new all-time high, just for reference, because I think it's important to realize just where the price is, how far away we are. We're only around 5% from a new all-time high for Bitcoin. The price has not cratered or anything like that. We're just riding out the waves here. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's what so often happens with the price of Bitcoin. Of course, we still have Plan B out here saying that we're still going to have a $98,000 Bitcoin in November, $135,000 in December. You know, that $135,000 in December, it's a lot less price action compared to the $98,000 move. Now, just for some reference here, let's close the RSI off. Just for some reference, how much would Bitcoin need to pump to get up that high? Well, to get up to our $98,000 price target, we need a 49% pump for Bitcoin. Now, if you wanted to go up to the $135,000 target, from there, it's actually not as much distance to cover. You would only need a 38% price pump in December for that to happen. Both things are possible, and you might be looking and going, come on, Lark, that's redonkulous, man. We're not getting a $98,000 in November. And look, with 2 weeks to go, we would need some definitely big news, I think, to see that kind of a price pump coming in such a short amount of time. However, this is exactly what does happen. Look here. This was a similar amount of time from the 29th of September until the 20th of October, about 20 days. Price Bitcoin went up by 65%. That is not unreasonable. It's not unreasonable. And look, maybe this prediction does not come true. Maybe we do not get to $98,000 this month. Maybe we only get up to 80 or something like that, but I still think we are looking at $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. If it doesn't happen and we only get up to 80 or 90 or 95, well, shucks. It was a good try anyway. But I still think, of course, with looking at the numbers, right? 49% and then another 38% to get to his 135 target. It's really only 50% away for $100,000 Bitcoin. And that could extend out, of course, for 6 weeks. So what is that? 8% a week for the next 6 weeks for Bitcoin? That's nothing. That's nothing when you really think about it in the big scheme of things. Anyway, let's talk about the rejection. Bitcoin did get a rejection late last week, which you can see represented in the charts as, of course, this retest here that happened. That was the second line down. So the SEC has rejected VanEck Spot Market Bitcoin ETF. The SEC, man, you know, it's such a crazy thing that the US SEC keeps pushing futures ETFs on people because they're such an inferior product. Canada gets a spot Bitcoin ETF, Brazil gets a spot Bitcoin ETF, Australia is going to get a spot Bitcoin ETF, but for some reason, some crazy reason, in the USA, the SEC has decided that people need to be protected from real Bitcoin. They can only trade garbage paper contracts on the CME. And the whole thing just reeks of corruption. You know, the current SEC chief, he's a Goldman Sachs guy. So he obviously is just still representing Wall Street, right? That's what the SEC is doing. It's protecting people, regular people, from getting rich by being able to actually access the kind of products that they want, because all of the current Bitcoin ETFs that are being approved in the USA are backed by futures contracts. They're inferior. They're not giving you real Bitcoin. They're not giving you actual access to Bitcoin. They're just a paper contract trading off of the price of Bitcoin. I don't know why the SEC keeps doing this, except for they're just corrupt and hate regular investors. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. We have so many precedents of a spot Bitcoin ETF working just fine. Just fine. Here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. You know, they say that the Bitcoin market, there's too much manipulation going on in the Bitcoin market. I mean, just ignore, of course, all the manipulation that Wall Street does with Forex and metals and all that stuff. The SEC says there's too much manipulation in the Bitcoin market. So they can't have a spot Bitcoin ETF because of that. And yet, the CME Bitcoin futures markets, what's their reference rate for the price of Bitcoin? It's the spot markets. What is going on here? Anyway, that's disappointing news. It's not unexpected. The SEC basically said that they're not looking to approve any spot Bitcoin ETFs. I know we had kind of had the rumor early last week that potentially the Grayscale Bitcoin trust was going to be able to be converted into a Bitcoin ETF. That obviously did not happen. This was our big surprise of the week. The SEC rejecting the VanEck spot Bitcoin ETF. Let's get into some good news. The Bitcoin network has welcomed the Taproot upgrade. Nice. This is the biggest upgrade for Bitcoin in about 4 years' time. So last time we had an upgrade this big was back in 2017. Around the same time, actually, about 4 years ago. Now, the Taproot upgrade, I welcome it. Welcome, Taproot upgrade. Welcome to Bitcoin. Without a doubt, I am happy to see any kind of new updates happening to Bitcoin. But you have to understand, Bitcoin's a very, very conservative network. The developers of Bitcoin are mega conservative. So we don't get a lot of revolutionary upgrades happening to Bitcoin. Something like EIP 1559 on Ethereum, which burns some Ethereum fees, like that, you know, crazy stuff. That would be so contentious if you were to do something like that in Bitcoin. It would inevitably cause, you know, Bitcoin Cash number 2 to pop up. Taproot upgrade, some little things that make Bitcoin better, using a little bit less data per transaction, enabling a wide variety of multi-signatures to happen in a better way, especially for layer 2 scaling solutions like the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So these are good improvements. They increase the privacy of Bitcoin. They increase the usability of Bitcoin, not in a dramatic way, but in a meaningful way. So welcome Bitcoin Taproot to the network. Big regulatory news. We'll get into these two stories, one out of India, one out of Russia. Let's start with the Indian story. So the Indian government has said that it's going to take progressive steps on crypto. That's according to sources, man, I love it. People. Anyway, so somebody somewhere said something. Essentially, this is, if true, a big damn deal, because what has been happening in India, if you've been following along with the news, or if you haven't seen the news, but you'd like to get updated about what's been going on in India for the last few years, the Indian government has been hugely anti-crypto. They've passed all kinds of, or tried to pass, I should say, all kinds of different things, trying to keep people from being able to use their bank accounts to buy crypto on exchanges, and trying to float bills banning crypto multiple times. This stuff has come up. It's been challenged in the Supreme Court multiple times as well. The crypto industry has won some great victories for crypto in India. So obviously, hats off to the industry representatives who were able to push that forward and make that happen. But there's been this sort of dicey relationship in India between, of course, your regular Indians who want crypto and want to be on board and want to be able to use cryptocurrencies, buy Bitcoin to store their wealth in, use different networks for DeFi and stuff like that, and these conservative elements within the government that have been sort of anti-innovation, anti-crypto, concerned about, money laundering and all this stuff, right? So seeing the Indian government actually say, hey, we see this crypto thing, we actually need to take some good steps towards the industry. Now, what that's going to mean, I don't know, right? We just have sauces right now. We don't have anything definitive, but the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance is going to start meeting with industry representatives, which is a big step forward. Hopefully we can get some real common sense progressive legislation coming out of the government that does things like provide tax clarity for regular Indians who want to use cryptocurrencies, and maybe they can do some laws that will help welcome the industry into the country. We've seen other countries like France doing that, right, where they say, well, yeah, you can come here and you can get a special crypto visa and you can get guaranteed banking access if you bring your crypto company to France. Things like this are a big and important step. So if India gets it right, it's a massive, massive opportunity, especially considering how many of the developers and how many projects are coming out of India these days. So they've got an exploding tech scene in terms of the interest by developers and venture capital and all that stuff happening in the crypto industry within India. The government needs to catch up, and seems like, anyway, we may actually have some positive steps happening in that direction. Obviously, I will keep you updated as we learn more. Over in Russia. So, Russian ministries are coming together and they want to legalize cryptocurrency mining in the country. The Russian central bank, as always, not keen. It's so funny, eh? We've seen this it's another one of these situations where we have this battle that's been going on between different factions within the government. We have some factions of the Russian government that are super pro-crypto. We've seen the Russian president coming out saying a lot of pro-crypto things in the past. We've seen the Treasury Ministry in Russia making a lot of positive steps, trying to push forward positive legislation. And the central bank always on the other side, just being like, we oppose it. Let's try to ban everything. Let's try to stop. I mean, we've seen all kinds of stories, just like in India. We've seen so many stories over the last couple of years where we've had threats from the Russian government that they're going to ban all crypto. They're going to ban people from using exchanges. They're going to, chase after people for taxes, all of this kind of stuff. None of that ever really came to fruition. There's been a lot of saber rattling, but we haven't actually seen any of these harsher legislations getting through. Crypto in Russia still, of course, a thriving industry. Another major source of crypto developers, crypto projects, massive interest from the Russian public in cryptocurrencies, and of course, one of the biggest sites for cryptocurrency mining in the world. Now, right now, USA is the #1 Bitcoin mining powerhouse. Kazakhstan has just popped up to #2 because it was a lot easier for Chinese miners to just throw all their miners in the back of a truck and then drive it across into Kazakhstan, which a lot of them have done. China now effectively has 0% of the global hash rate. They went from 65% at the start of the year to 0% now. Ridiculous move, of course, by China. However, Russia has picked up some of that business too. It didn't all go to Kazakhstan, and Russia has actually been historically one of the biggest Bitcoin mining countries in the world. We've seen lots of stories about, for example, hydroelectric dams out in central Russia that are just being underutilized. Right? They can't transmit that power over to Moscow. It's just too damn far away. And so they've got all this capacity that they could be using, but they're not using. Well, not until now anyway. Bitcoin miners have come in and they've taken that extra capacity and they're using it to mine Bitcoin. So look, it's not all clean Bitcoin mining happening in Russia, just like in almost any country that's doing Bitcoin mining. But I'd say Russia is probably very highly renewable energy powered Bitcoin mining. So I hope that they do pass some laws to really cement the cryptocurrency mining industry in Russia. It's a big financial opportunity, especially since China threw out the baby with the bathwater recently by kicking the crypto industry out of the country. Final story for today. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary says that his cryptocurrency holdings currently comprise 10% of his portfolio. Now, it got me thinking about my portfolio, which is probably like 80 to 85% crypto. I've got some stocks as well and some precious metals, right? So not a crazy amount outside of crypto. Obviously, I'm balls deep into the cryptocurrency industry. Bitcoin is my #1 holding of everything. It is my #1 wealth storage asset, if you will. But it got me thinking, 10%, is that the right number? Am I too deep into crypto? I don't think I'm too deep into crypto. I think crypto is the play of the decade. I think that crypto, we're literally looking at the roaring 20s for the cryptocurrency markets. And look, that does not mean the number's only going to go up. We're going to see crazy volatility, lots of insanity happening, brutal corrections, massive crashes, all that fun kind of stuff. It's normal. It's normal in the market. But I feel like only a 10% allocation to cryptocurrencies in your total portfolio, I don't think that's enough. Personally. I mean, look, obviously, Kevin and I are at different places in our investing journeys. Kevin's much older. He's probably, late 50s, early 60s, something like that. So he's not looking to introduce as much, what he sees anyway, as risk in his portfolio. He's happy with his diversified property portfolio. He's happy with his, early stage investing portfolio, with his stock portfolio. It's all pretty safe. 10% in crypto for somebody like Kevin's actually a pretty big move when you really think about it. He's introducing what he sees anyway, at least as a lot of risk in his portfolio. The reality is, if we look at the numbers, a portfolio with even a 1% allocation to Bitcoin dramatically outperformed a portfolio with 0 Bitcoin. If you bring that number up to 3% or 5% or 10%, massively outperforming, a broad index fund of stocks, for example. So the numbers really speak for themselves when it comes to how much crypto has outperformed everything over the last 10 years, and I believe it's going to do the exact same over the next 10 years. But I know that Kevin also is not a Bitcoin-only investor. He's got Bitcoin, he's got Ethereum. I know he cut a deal with FTX recently, so he's definitely got FTX on his portfolio as well. Probably a couple other altcoins. But for that, for somebody like Kevin, to 10% of his portfolio, we're talking, tens of millions of dollars here, potentially more. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a lot of money invested in a rather low risk sense. So he can actually, with his 10% of his portfolio into crypto, dramatically outperform his peers while only risking 10% of his wealth, which of course not really a big risk. Fast forward to 2030, that 10% of his portfolio, if he doesn't sell anything, is probably going to be 50 or 60% of his portfolio. Now I'm sure he'll take profits along the way, all that fun stuff, but that is the growth of crypto. 10% today will be 50, 60, 70% of your portfolio, just buying the safe stuff, right? Just Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe a couple of your top altcoins. That's all you need to do, and you're going to so dramatically outperform within the next 10 years. Me, though, 10% is just not enough. Get up those numbers, son. Those are chump numbers. 10%, no way. No way. Of course, everybody will make their own decisions for their own portfolios. But I'm very curious about what your number is. Like I said, mine's around 80 to 85%, somewhere in that region. What is your number? What percent of your total investment portfolio is into cryptocurrencies? Let us all know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.